This program is brought to you by the Media Liberty Alliance Foundation in cooperation with OBBM Network TV, bringing citizen-led, creative local media to the forefront of local communities to foster a greater understanding of constitutional liberty and appreciation of what makes us truly free, starting with you and me.
A federal court blocked a California gender secrecy law that allows schools to hide students' gender confusion from parents. Attorney Nick Berry said neither law nor school policies should interfere with parental rights. Public schools should focus on science, reading, and math and leave moral education to parents. The Bible gives parents, not state schools, the responsibility for raising kids. I'm Pastor John Miller. Visit me at churchontherock.org.
Hello and welcome to the Zach Rateliff Show. I'm Zach. This is Danny. Danny, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Hey man, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you being here. We're going to talk about data centers and what's going on around our area. It's a pretty big deal, Danny. Just in case you don't know, we're bringing on new listeners every day. So we're in 40 states and 13 countries download us currently. That being said, data centers are all across the country. Data centers are coming in, so this subject will be relevant wherever somebody's listening to us from, I think.
Correct.
So anyway, kind of tell us, introduce yourself, give us a little history on who you are, and then we'll kind of jump into the data center conversation.
Well, I'm Danny Proctor. I live out in the Leary area.
Pull that up to you just a little bit.
Lifelong resident of Bowie County. I have lived out in the Leary area for 20 years. Have a small ranch. We raise some cows and donkeys and chickens, and enjoy our country life and living out in the county.
I think I just listed a place beside you for sale, actually.
Oh,
there's 8 acres there to your would-be south on Leary Road, right there. It's
yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah,
yes.
I just listed that. So yeah, I just listed that for sale. I guess last week, and I was even thinking about all this with the data center and then where that is and location to, into all that. And so I was like, oh, we're right here on top of it right here. So.
Well, and it's interesting that there's a housing development just north on 2253 that I think currently there's about 9 homes in there. 3 are occupied and the rest are for sale. And
on that east side of it right there?
Yes. And I think that real estate agents have a duty now to inform any potential buyers that that data center is proposed for the 600 acres literally across the street.
Yeah, I bet there's, like anything else, there's probably a lot. Most of them probably don't even know,
right?
Which is what you're. I mean, around there for sure, the signs and everything. So anyway, I don't want to get the cart in front of the horse here. So you're Danny Proctor. This is what you're doing. You're getting into data centers. Kind of tell us about this, and we'll kind of get into where it is and all that you're doing.
Well, in April, we found out that a landowner had sold 600 acres to Fort Worth Power Corps.
Okay.
Fort Worth Power Corps is an affiliate of Black Mountain Energy. The proposal is for a data center. Currently, they have received a permit, a air permit, to build 6 natural gas-fired generators and 2 steam-powered reclamation generators.
I don't know what a reclamation generator. I know what a natural gas generator is.
I don't either.
Okay. Okay. I'm just writing this down. Now, okay, I'll I'll have all the questions when we're
Sure.
okay. So we've got the reclamation generators. I have no idea what that is unless it's reclaiming the steam produced by the gas generators, which could be a thing.
That's
but,
possible.
But I don't know. I don't know enough to know what I don't know when it comes.
Well,
to
and
that.
I think that's part of our problem, Zach, is that nobody knows a whole lot about any of this.
Right.
It's kind of came in the dark of night, so to speak, and we're all trying to play catch up. And what's interesting is that your city councils, your county commissioners, they honestly know less than we know. And so that's part of our problem is how do you allow $1 billion company to come into your community with the potential for different types of pollution unchecked without anyone agreeing to this?
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting, and just like the battery energy storage systems, or BESS as they're called, and all
Right.
that, that was that was a big deal of what are these going to do? I know that those BESS systems, in the worst case scenario can be an absolute problem.
Yes.
So even when you can't put out a lithium fire, there's no way to do that, and I don't know if the data center has that involved. I don't know. I've seen those colluded, but I don't know if they all go together. So I guess is my question on that. I don't know if one leads to the other.
Well, I think it's a combination of both.
Right.
I think that there's a BESS center out at Texamerica, I believe currently.
Really?
But
if I was going to put one somewhere, an industrial complex would make more sense than a lot of other places in my mind.
It would. However, the toxic fumes, if there's a runaway on those batteries, that is dangerous to the point of causing death.
Yeah, for sure.
If you breathe the fumes.
Well, and your car won't run because there's no fire, and your animals will die. And there's no oxygen in the air, so it just sucks all the life out of a 1.5 mile radius around it. I mean, it can be a bad deal. So no, I'm with you on that. Well, one of the things I'm hearing here is the water issue, because we're in the fight against golly, my mind escapes me, where they're been trying to build that new lake for 50 years. What's that called?
The Marvin
Nichols. And so that's been a worry. And then, so now, Dallas or DFW is trying to get the water from that. Well, then, but then we have Riverbend here in town. And then don't they already sell some of our water to Houston or Dallas or any of that, some of that?
There's been a battle over so many acre feet of water out of Wright-Patman. I'm not sure where that stands at this point. I know that the group fighting Marvin Nichols has done an excellent job to date in keeping that from happening.
Okay.
When you talk about water, we have several aquifers that flow through North and South Bowie County. There's actually two different ones. And when you look at the volume of water, there is not enough there to support all of the county residents' wells, along with a huge industrial complex like a data center.
Well, that's crazy. Just to start off there. But also, we have a growth problem in our region anyway. We don't have enough water to push forward residentially to go west. I mean, they have the new water treatment plant going in, but I mean, westward expansion right now is I don't know if it's at a halt, but it's as close as you're going to get to not being able to happen, because we don't have the water infrastructure to support that. So seems like a problem, just from a city planning, area planning issue. And so I guess my question on that is, if we already don't have enough water, well, let me say it like this. I'm trying to form all this as I think about it. If we were the data center, I told you off camera, I don't know how I feel about it. But if they're going to, because some people are saying, oh, they're inevitable, they're coming no matter what. Okay, let me accept that for a second. If that's the case, then we can at least build rules around it that benefit us, protect our environment, protect our resources, protect all the things that we need. I think that's the way I'm willing to accept it. If not giving up the fight that it has to be accepted, but if I'm going to, there's got to be these rules to make sure our environment's good, our water's good, our power grid's good. It doesn't put a loss, all the things. And so as far as the water on that, my thought would be have them pay for the new water treatment facility. But I mean, maybe I'm way out of bounds. I don't know.
No, that's something that Governor Abbott has floated out there, that they need to pay for all their infrastructure cost, utilities, etc. The problem is, it seems, is we're putting the cart before the horse. We're on one hand saying we don't want them, and then on the other hand, we're saying, well, it's okay as long as we have some guardrails.
Right.
Okay. We don't even know what we're guardrailing at this point. That's the problem, is that we're not getting any information, zero information out of the data center people.
So they're just closed-lipped.
Yeah.
They won't even.
Yeah. You send a FOIA request, you get back redacted documents saying that it's proprietary. So once again, it's because Texas, the county commissioners have been stripped of pretty much all of their authority.
Right. I mean, they can't.
No.
From my understanding.
Right. And so,
or won't.
They have these data centers have figured out that, hey, we can go out into these rural counties where nobody can tell us what to do.
Right.
And we can build what we want, regardless of what it might cause. Mm-hmm. And there's just something absolutely wrong about that we have got to get this under control.
Right.
Abbott said in Bullard, Texas, a couple of weeks ago that he wanted to ban data centers in rural Texas. It will take an executive order or call them back into session in order to do that.
Well,
and so far we haven't seen that.
With Abbott, I know it's a conservative show and all that, but I'm not an Abbott fan generally. I mean, I'm not going to vote for the crazy lady that's running against him, but his verbiage is also something you really have to pay attention to. He said he's not for data centers in rural neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And I think that's the play that's there. Okay, yeah, we'll do an executive order so that these aren't in rural neighborhoods, and then you find some land somewhere like, well, that's not a neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. I'm just skeptical of everyone all the time. And so as soon as you said that, I'm like, that's kissing both sides of the pig right there. Like, that sounds good for a soundbite, but I don't really think that means anything.
No, I think to a great degree it is possibly just campaign rhetoric.
Right.
He received $500,000 from Black Mountain.
From Black Mountain.
As a campaign.
Which is
yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
they're not paying him for nothing.
No.
It's like, hey, we don't need you to do anything until we need you to do something.
There you go. No, we really hope that Abbott comes through. Unfortunately, if he waits until the next session, that's 27, and that's a long way off in this world. Because, as I mentioned, they've received their permit to build the generators. So that would be phase one. Phase two would be the start of the data center.
So, okay, I knew they had applied for it. I didn't realize that they've received it.
They did.
When did that happen? I didn't.
March the 11th, I believe. It was applied for February 16th, and it was awarded on the 11th of March.
Okay. The Zach Rateliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Exceed Health Clinic on Mall Drive in Texarkana, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org.
At the Texas Democrat Convention, Ben Flores defended Senate candidate James Tallarico. He said when they say James is going to hell, we'll say we're all going to hell. He was trying to foster party unity, but why would anyone align themselves with hell for political power? Jesus said hell is real and is a place of eternal terror and perpetual pain. No candidate or party is worth that allegiance. I'm Pastor John Miller. Visit me at churchontherock.org.
So one thing, and I when I had Nancy White in here, maybe last summer, and we're talking about best stuff, and man, she knows her stuff.
She does.
She knows her stuff, and so my pushback on her against the best stuff was, which is the common refrain. What about private property rights? Which she ate me alive on that, but same thing on this is, what's my property? I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to let you take that, and then we'll kind of get into that conversation. Well, you got private property rights in Texas, so.
Well, and we don't want to stop that. I mean, if a person wants to sell their property, no one should be able to say, don't do it.
Right.
Or you can't do it.
Right.
Okay. But we need to be in a position where we do no harm. And I think that's one of our big issues right now is that 1 to 2 miles is called the sacrifice zone. Put in perspective, my property is half a mile from the Barkman Creek property, that the 600 acres that they purchased.
Do your fences touch? I'm not exactly sure how far you go back.
No, there's one small pasture between.
I knew it had to be close.
It's close. Half a mile may be generous. I think it's probably less than that.
Yeah. Well, and as far as
But now to put this perspective, this is not the only one.
Right.
There's one north of Hooks at Spur 86. That's 800 acres. Then there's Tex America that's also entertaining one. And I believe there's one on the Arkansas side. And then also on top of that, a German company's bought 1,700 acres to put in a solar farm south of DeKalb. So, I mean,
we're being hit with it.
We are under attack.
We've been targeted as the place that they can come for some reason.
And why?
Yeah.
No zoning laws, nothing to stop these people at all.
Huh. I didn't realize that. I hadn't thought about it all in the same thought flow of them all coming here. And I've seen very little about the Arkansas side one, but I know that it's proposed over there. Okay, I've got some thoughts, and I just kind of want to walk through this.
Sure.
Like I said, I think these are thoughts business people, which you're a business person, I'm a business person, will have when looking at this from the economic side. And so I kind of want to do that because I think you can take these numbers and make it good or bad, whatever side you're on. So I just want to take it from the middle and then kind of let's play it out. Our tax base in Bowie County is what? Well, I know what it is. It's $10 billion, and after they, do your write-offs and your write-downs and everything, it's about $8 billion, right?
Okay.
If a data center comes, and then I'm just going to do one because I don't have the brain capacity to make the multiples work. But if a data center comes in that's worth $4 billion, and I don't know that that's what it'll be, but it just makes my math easy. So we 50% up our tax base. It seems like there's a lot of area there that we could really help our county by the increased revenue. And so I just wanted to throw that back to you. What about the school districts and the emergency systems? Like, are these not all going to benefit from that?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Zach. When will the tax abatements be over?
Well, see, I don't know. We hadn't even talked about tax abatements, so that's what I want to get into. So they're not going to pay on any of this because So do we even know enough to know what tax abatements we're looking at?
There is another unanswered question.
Okay.
So I mean, you're going to have out-of-town crews come in to build.
Right.
They've talked about building man camps.
Just out.
So your hotels,
I guess you get 600 acres, you can put one wherever you want to.
So the hotels aren't going to get the big boom of workers staying in their hotels. I don't know about the restaurants. I don't know if they will get a big influx of people eating in their restaurants, understanding that that's probably a 2-year opportunity,
right,
of some sort. And then those people go away. They're not going to be, for the most part, residents of Bowie County that are working on these.
You know, this is my argument against the fair. is the like I hear myself when you're saying this, because I don't like the fair. The fair comes in, they bring their own campers, they bring their own food that they bought from grocery stores somewhere else. They set up, they suck money out of our economy, and then they don't stay in our hotels, they don't buy our restaurants, and maybe they get some gas, and then they leave, and it hurts every local business for usually a month. You know, just from the businesses that I know of, your hairstylist and your massage therapist and your whoever, like there's all that money went to the fair.
Right.
So it sounds like you're making that same argument of there's a possibility that this could happen.
Well, I saw, we're having to learn based on other locations. Okay.
Okay.
And groups that are fighting them, that are discovering issues that come with these. One of the articles I saw, the data center was asking for a 10-year tax abatement. Okay, I submit to you that these will be relics before 10 years, because they're going to be tremendously overbuilt.
Okay.
We've got we're closing in on 4,000 in our country, with the state of Texas leading the way with wanting to build 400 and something.
But don't we have to keep up with China?
China's only got 400.
Okay. So 100 times?
Yeah. Now,
or 10 times?
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And that's President Trump saying that it's a national security issue.
Mm.
So what does that do? I mean, when you look at from a national security standpoint, we're not going to see those shut down.
Right.
We're going to see other homes and businesses that are out of water. They're going to make sure that data center is operating.
Well, and I guess this will go back to just that they won't give you enough information. You know, here in my mind, it seems like, well, first of all, can you even go like, is there a new one in Granbury or something like that? Where's the newest one been built? Granbury? I'm not sure if that name's on, because I know somebody was at Lake Granbury in a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure if that's why it's in my mind or.
Right. Now, I think Granbury's been operating. Now, there's another one, I believe, that they are fighting there.
Okay.
And I know Black Mountain is working on one in Fort Worth.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not sure I would know which one was fresh online.
Well, because I know this just seems silly now that I'm about to say it, but can we not just call them? Like, hey, we want to come see this. We want to see what you do. And I know the answer is probably no, but I mean, hey, make us feel better about this. Let us come see what you're doing. Let us come see your. I mean, is that a crazy thought? I don't know.
Oh, it ought to be worth a try, but I think the answer is going to be no.
Right.
I mean, people have gone up to the sites, and security has come and run them off. And so that's not even getting inside of the facility.
Right.
So I think that's probably a foregone conclusion that they're not going to let you inside.
Yeah, which is true about all the other commercial facilities around here too, which then leads to my other line of questioning, which is, if Cooper Tire was going to be built right now, would we allow it? Or Domino, or Ashdown, the paper mills there, or right across the interstate here, the aluminum plant. Like, we've got a lot of industry using a lot. I mean, if you ever look at the holding tanks for the paper mills, they're holding all kinds of water.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why this is different. It's just a general, it's just my thought process on it.
Well, I think it's several things.
Okay.
Zach. I mean, one, the secrecy around all of this.
Right.
They have not come forward with any type of transparency whatsoever. Now, why is that?
Yeah.
Why would they? Why
That's
would
what I
they
don't
do
understand.
this and all this secrecy?
Uh-huh.
The only thing I can come up with is there's going to be things in these that we're not going to like,
Right.
and it's going to be in the forms of the noise pollution, light pollution, water pollution, et cetera, not to mention the fact that it's going to destroy our property values for those that live in proximity to these data centers.
Well, I was reading, I don't know, maybe it was Facebook or maybe it might have been X or something like that. But there's one guy that claims that all his calves that have been born since they came in around him, either they're miscarried or they're stillborn. I can't remember exactly which one. So, I mean, environmental impact is especially in a rural community,
Yeah.
you know, that big deal, right?
Right.
So, I mean,
Well, and I saw that piece.
okay. And I don't know if it's true. I hadn't fact checked,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of that around here. And that's
Exactly.
which is why I appreciate you coming on. Cause I was telling people that we both know, like, hey, I'd like to have somebody come in here, but I don't need it to be emotional. I need it to be,
Right.
here's what we're actually worried about.
Yes. Well, and when we started our group, which is now probably 200 strong, though we just compiled 572 signatures on a petition. So we have a lot of folks that are seriously involved in this.
Right.
But when we started the group, I wanted to talk facts.
Yeah.
Now, we're really short on a lot of facts as we're having to learn from these other facilities.
Right.
But even at that, you know, I couldn't tell you that this gentleman is having stillborn calves or not.
Right. Yeah. Maybe he made it up. Maybe he didn't.
And sadly, we won't know that until they actually build it, and I'll see if my cows are having live calves or if we're having a problem. I've heard that there's low birth weight in the calves. So once again, our poison is already in place
Right.
when we start proving up that these problems do or do not exist.
Generally not the way you want to work a problem.
No. And we go back to the fact that they're not going to open up and tell us anything. They don't have to.
Right.
And our county commissioners, as good as they are, and we've got some good people in place, but their hands are tied to a great degree.
Well, back to the economic side of that, I can kind of see county commissioners are taking a risk if they don't do it. Because let's say it's $4 billion, just because that was half the county tax base and just made it easy for me. If we did that and then you abated 50% of the taxes and it takes it down to $2 billion, then you have Leary, Texas, which their school district budget is I don't know what it is. But let's say it's $1 million a year. I don't know that's, but $1 million a year. And then, so now this $4 billion would have paid in $10 million a year in taxes. And then, but because of the property tax abatement, it's only going to pay in $5 million a year.
Yeah.
You're still getting 5 times your budget to vote against that. And then to be able to tell your citizens, hey, you didn't get all of these things for something we didn't know. It looks like there at least needs to be some research done around it to be able to answer to why not. Right. Is that, and if I'm not tracking,
no. But let me say this. I know the landowner went to the Leary City Council, and I believe possibly the Red Lick, and shared with them that, hey, you'll get a new school out of this. You're going to get all of these benefits. Fine. Write the check.
right.
Let's see the check now. If you're planning to build this and it's going to be $1 billion project and it's going to be the great and glorious thing of the earth, write the check.
Right.
They're not going to do it. They're going to get tax abatements. They're going to come in and they're going to rape this community for everything they can get. And when it's obsolete, they're going to walk away from it. And what we need to have is we need to have a bond in place from these companies, and understand that Black Mountain is just a procurement company.
So they're not the actual.
They're not going to build it.
Oh, so they're not going to build it. They're not going to operate it.
No.
So what are they? They're just the intermediary to find somebody else, basically.
Right. So it's going to be Meta. It's going to be someone, Elon Musk or a Bill Gates or a Bezos. It's going to be one of the ultra wealthy folks, companies that.
Was it Bill Gates? They just bought a company that does just last year too. That does bug protein for your meat. So that's, anyway, sorry. Yeah. I will rabbit hole myself. You start mentioning names like that, I'm going to think of everything wrong that they've done. Like, I don't want to eat grasshoppers.
That's another show.
That's a whole other show. But I'm sorry. That's exactly, I'm like, I don't, but that's the scary part, right? You don't know.
No.
Who's coming in. Now, of course, then on the other side, and you can't, I haven't verified this, and this isn't my job. I kind of like you, we got other things to do, but they're saying, well, let me address this part first. Because when you said this, when you said relics, and I thought of the iPhone, right?
No.
When the first iPhone came out in 2005, 6, 7, somewhere there, it was nothing like what this one is. And
right.
They update them, they send updates constantly.
Right.
And then every 2 years, they're obsolete.
Right.
And then same with your computer. If you go, this computer I got last year, I've only been doing this podcast a year. It's my second computer already to be able to keep up with so are these going to have enough hardware to do updates? Because that's what you're saying, that not that water's not an issue, but aside from that, technology's moving fast. Like 600 acres. What if you have to expand? What if you? I mean, I don't really know what my thought is there, but there's technology changes quickly.
Well, I mean, it's a gold rush of sorts right now, because what you're seeing is these companies. I think a lot of them are just taking it on a bet that they can get a customer. They're investing $6-7 million in this 600 acres, 8 million, possibly. And so, do they have a customer for it? I mean, I would assume so.
Right.
But when you're talking about the kind of money that's involved in this, maybe they don't. I know with Tex America, the company that's proposing out there does not have a customer yet.
I know, yeah, because I had Eric and Scott in here to talk about that, and they said, no, this is just, once again, they're the intermediary going to go find somebody. Hopefully, was the one there.
And a couple of issues with the Tex America location is part of their requirements is it must have 120 permanent jobs.
Right.
I don't believe these data centers will even come close to 120 permanent jobs. And another thing is they can't do any harm to the other lessees that are out there on the property. Well, that proof will only come after one is built. And then you're going to have the noise, the vibration.
Right.
And as you may be aware, some of our people went to the Granbury location that's running now.
Oh, no, I didn't know this.
Okay. And they stood outside of the facility before they were run off by security.
Right.
They had a decibel meter, and it was running anywhere from 80 to 140 decibels. That's 24 hours a day. And then on top of that, they started getting sick from the vibration,
nauseous,
that's coming from the sound. And so, let one of the large tenants out there start having their employees getting sick, and the vibration, the sound, constant. They're going to have a real problem out there. And so,
man, that's a thought too. I know I pulled noise ordinances one time, and I don't remember if you had to have a permit for anything. this wasn't here, is in Fayetteville. I think anything above 95 decibels after,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
think 85, I believe, is where
okay,
you start
maybe
causing
that's right.
damage.
Maybe that's right. Maybe it was 85. It was somewhere right in there that, you know, then you had to start getting, and I don't remember why I was doing that, but you had to have a permit for, you know, whatever. And then even that had to be a temporary. And so the decibels thing, 140 decibels. I mean, you're talking about a packed football stadium going nuts, you know, down in Austin or something. I mean, that's loud.
Yeah. And that, I mean, she videoed the decibel meter, posting those readings.
Right.
So,
but you know, then just the other side of my brain goes, I've been inside a paper mill, and I've been inside Cooper Tire, and I've been inside these places, and they are loud, and it hurts, and I mean, so that's where I'm having the problem. I can see both sides,
right.
and so, and obviously, if it was in my backyard, I would probably be a little more passionate about that too. But I'm like, okay, these things are loud. These things use water. The water usage is what concerns me too. Because if technology has evolved and if they've gotten better, then just release that and tell us.
Right.
Right. That looks like to me, that's an easy, here you go. This is what we've done for the, right? Here's the press release. Here's the facts. We have handled this. I think everybody involved, I would guess, if they could just say, here's the exact usage of water that we need and require. Here it is. And we can say, okay, either yes, that works for us, or no, that doesn't work. I mean, it would be nice if they'd just be like, here you go. I
wouldn't
it? Yeah. You know, the same thing with the power, because that was the Tex Americas thing when I talked to Eric and Scott in here was, you know, it was before the grid power or behind the meter power.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they call it? Behind the meter power.
Right.
And so we talked about them needing their own generation.
Right.
There. And so that's what you said for the 600 acres. We're going to build these generation units.
And those are backups.
Okay,
they will not be the power.
Well, because there's a giant, I'm guessing there's a high line around there somewhere.
There is. It goes right through the property.
Is that, I mean, that has to be.
Most likely.
Can you tie into that? I don't know how that works.
Well, from what I'm understanding, a lot of these are now starting to build their own substations for their power.
Okay.
I mean, it's still got to come from the lines.
Right.
But once again, we go back to the fact that they're not telling us anything.
Right.
You know, it would be wonderful if they would tell us, here's the water usage.
Right.
But
here's the water usage. Here's the power usage. Here's the infrastructure cost. Here, you know, these things look like, but even on that, and tell me, Barkman Creek, I thought a lot of that, just because I sell rural land, there's a flood zone in there somewhere. I don't know how that affects that. If it affects that part of it.
I think it possibly does along the creek. Now, one of the things that is also on that property along the creek are Indian burial mounds.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You know, I hate to say it, you probably get farther quicker. You know, obviously you've thought about that if you know that. I didn't even know that was. I mean, that's just cool from a historical.
That's federal.
That there's something there. You know, that's something to be. Because that doesn't matter at that point. All that's a whole different show, isn't it? That's interesting. Well, it's good to know. That's good to know. Indian burial mounds. I didn't know they were out there. I knew that, you know, down on the Red River, which, I mean, I guess it's really not that far as the crow flies.
They're all along Barkman Creek.
Really?
Yeah. I have found artifacts on my property.
Really? You know, I've been outside my entire life, lakes and rivers and hunting leases and, you know, all the things, and found crystals and petrified this, but I've never found an arrowhead or anything like that. That just makes me, I'd like to go see it just for just to see if I can see some of that.
Sadly, back years ago, there were people that robbed some of those sites.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would dig in that. But if you follow Bartman Creek, they're on down in the Wamba area. There's mounds there. If you go out Summer Hill Road to the Langdon property, the pecan orchard there, you'll see the mounds in there as well.
I drive through there all the time. Well, not all the time. Every few months, I'll pay attention.
Yeah, they're there.
Well,
and they've guarded those, thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for that. Okay, obviously people are worried about this.
Yes,
people are wanting to know, and I'm gonna write it down too. But what's the call to action here?
The call to action is to call Governor Abbott's office. 2 phone numbers: 512-463-2000 or 512-463-1782.
Again, one of them's the switchboard, and one of them's the
Okay. And we would like for people to call Governor Abbott's office and ask him to do an executive order for a moratorium on the data centers until they can be studied. Talk to a state rep that he said calling them back into session probably wouldn't be a great idea. He said simply because most of the politicians in Austin don't know a lot about them.
Apparently no one does.
And that's a scary thought. That's a scary thought that we are being invaded in the state of Texas to build over 400 of these, and nobody knows anything about them. Nobody's stopping to ask the question of, wait a minute, we need to get some guardrails in place here. We need to do something to stop this gold rush of companies wanting to come in here and build these. And some of the construction companies that are building them have never built one before. Now, what could go wrong with that? Okay, so I mean,
that's a whole nother.
Exactly.
I had Chris Spencer in here. He's the Republican candidate for our area, state representative.
Yes,
and he said the same thing. He said he was calling for a 6-month moratorium for more information. And I've talked to some other people that are like, hey, nothing's really going to happen in 6 months anyway. Maybe that just everybody take a breath and kind of, that's it. I don't know that I haven't met anybody that's like, oh no, we can't do that. Yep. You know what I mean? I think that's a reasonable ask in my mind.
Yeah. I'm not sure it can be studied in 6 months. I would rather see a year,
right?
So that we are at least getting into the session in 27 so that committees can be formed in order to study the effects of these. Yeah. Now, understand, this has to be bipartisan. It has to be folks that don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak, if you know what I mean, so that we're getting an unbiased opinion we need EPA involved in this. We need the health and resource group involved in this. We need the water side involved in it.
I'd really like to know where Riverbend is on this.
If I had to guess, based on the people on that board, I would say they're for it.
Just based off who's there?
Yeah.
Okay. I might try to do this show. Just call them. Hey, send me somebody.
Well, we'd love to hear from them.
Yeah. I mean, because, like I've said the whole time, I just want more information. I just want to know. I don't know enough to know what I don't know. I only know enough to be dangerous. And so,
exactly.
And that's always my thing when you see all these people get fired up on the internet and all this. I'm like, do you really know, or are you just mad?
Yeah.
Well, I can understand being mad, but let's get the information, or like you, and let's talk about this. Your group, you guys are meeting every Thursday, is that right?
Right.
Every Thursday at 5:30?
5:15.
5:15?
At Dixie Diner.
Okay. Every Thursday, 5:15 at Dixie Diner here in Texarkana, right 4 doors down from where we are. Danny, man, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you want to leave us with? I know you've got a meeting that you've got to get to before we get out of here.
Well, I think phone calls. Call as often as you can to Governor Abbott's office and share your concerns with him. It's important. I know a lot of people that may be listening to this broadcast. Well, it's not in my backyard.
Right.
Why should I be worried about it? Okay.
Right.
Well, it may not be in your backyard today, but it could be tomorrow. And more importantly is if you are on a well out in the county, you need to be vitally concerned that you may not have any water if they put this system in.
That's a scary thought. Yeah, I mean, you got to bring Riverbend in. You got to bring the water treatment facilities in if they're going to come in. They need to be responsible for buying it in the very least for paying for a new one. I mean, Texarkana's water system was built in the 50s. I mean, we're just I think all that's valid. I think that's exactly right. Let me give these numbers again, and then of course those of you listening to it can rewind it and play it slower or whatever. This is Abbott's office, 512-463-2000. That's 512-463-2000. And then 512-463-1782. 512-463-1782. I'll put these in the bottom of the notes on the YouTube broadcast. Like I told you before, most people are hearing us, so slow it down, listen to it. We've all got a supercomputer in our pocket. You can find the governor's office and give them a call. Danny, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Zach, for allowing me to be here.
Oh, no, I certainly appreciate it, and would love any updates as they come, just to kind of keep everybody. And for those of you across the country, these are coming. We may be the forefront of the fight, but we're not the only state fighting. So,
amen.
Keep your head on swivel. All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. I hope God blesses each and every one of you today.